Life is full of surprises, some obviously exciting, others not so much. And while it's impossible to be prepared for all of them, it is possible to put precautions in place. That is ultimately why we have insurance. But let's be honest, it is a bit of a grudge purchase because we don't really see an instant return except until we need it, and it can quite literally be a lifesaver. So here to help us understand a little bit more and to protect what matters most to us is Linah Mabena from Standard Bank. Linah, you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
So cool to be connecting with you on this journey because you and I and the rest of your team are going to be walking a bit of a journey here. And as a new father, relatively new father, these are things that really do matter to me.
Fantastic.
So thank you so much. I suppose we should start with the broader questions first. What different types of insurance are there and how ultimately do they help to protect us?
Okay, so before we start, good morning to you and good morning to our viewers.
Thank you.
And thank you for this fantastic opportunity.
It's a pleasure.
You're asking a very, very important question. Which is obviously a question that most of us tend to shy away from because we're talking about death and we're talking about life insurance. There are two broad categories of insurance, and that is the long-term insurance, which talks about really your life policies, your credit life policies, and your funeral policies. You then have the short-term category, which is really around the things that you carry on you, so your personal items, your cars, your contents, as well as the structural insurance that they normally refer to as homeowners insurance.
So we've got kind of our more immediate, which maybe is the less grudgy of the grudge purchases, and then the long-term. And maybe you can expand on the long-term insurance, because that's probably something, I mean, at my ripe old age, I am thinking a lot more about now and as a family man, but it's probably somewhere that we don't necessarily think about or start at from an earlier age. How would you typify long-term insurance?
Absolutely. Long-term insurance, there's a variety of long-term insurance policies. And without complicating it for our viewers, I'm going to just zoom into the four key categories. So the first one is really simple life. And it's simple life. You go, take out the policy. There's no medical underwriting. There's no upfront underwriting. You then have a complex life, as the term suggests. It's complex. Okay. So there's some underwriting that takes place, and you also need to go for bloods. You then move to the third one, which is term policies, really life policy for a certain term, for a short term or long term, and there's normally some investment component linked to it. In there, you also find your credit life policies. So your credit life policies are policies that you take against your loan. And the last one is really your funeral policies, and funeral policies are funeral expenses.
This is life. You've just explained life playing out in its various stages, and something that, as much as you might feel resistant to think about, for your family, for your own future protection, these things are absolutely important. From my immediate intuitive understanding, why would you say long-term insurance is so important?
Oh, wow. I love that question. Long-term insurance, again, as the term suggests, is about creating lasting legacies. It's really making sure that when you're no longer there, your family is taken care of. You don't want your family to be worried about debts. You don't want your family to suffer when you're no longer there. So life and long-term insurance is really making sure that they have one less thing to worry about. They can continue living. It cannot replace you, but at least there's some continuity, and they can focus on the mourning process and the healing process whilst the other things are taken care of.
It's amazing to hear you speak with emotion, and I feel that emotion, and I'm quite an emotional guy. I think being a dad and being a family man will bring that out in you, but I can feel how much this matters to you and how much you've thought about it from a personal perspective. Why do you think finding the right option for you is so important when we have these choices? It is such a big thing to think about. There is a lot of gravitas there. How do you know what's right for you?
You have to pause and you have to look at your circumstances. You have to look at your circumstances. You have to look at your needs. You have to look at your financial position and what you can afford. It is absolutely critical because if you understand your short and your long-term needs, you can then shop around for the right option and you can make an informed decision. It's very important to buy the right policy that will deal and address your needs.
I know, but be realistic, and there is help. I think you can see I'm kind of, the wheels are turning as I'm thinking about applying this to my own situation. What age should we
What
start thinking
age?
about
What
these
age?
various options? When should that trigger?
So
kick in?
the most important thing that I'm going to say to you and our viewers is that the earlier you start, the better. The younger you are and the healthier you are, the cheaper the insurance is. However, there is always a minimum entry age, which is 18 years old. It does not necessarily mean that if you're old, you cannot take a life policy. It is important to evaluate your life insurance needs at every stage of your life. So as your life and your circumstances change, you also need to stop and evaluate. Like you've indicated, you just had a child. So your insurance needs are completely different from when you were still a single individual. Now that you have a child, you probably got married, you now have a family.
Almost there. That's going to be a whole different insurance that I'm going to have to take out. But it is. This is the plan. I'm thinking long term now. And
So
I love
it's
that.
absolutely critical to evaluate them as you go and as your needs change to make sure that you have the right cover at all times.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much. I kind of feel like I've had a private consultation here that we might have to address after the fact. But it's amazing to hear you talk with so much authenticity from an emotional perspective. So thank you so much. Clearly, you are in exactly the right field, and this is obviously something that all of us get to lean on, and we can be a part of this journey. And it's something that really is vital to think about. As difficult as some of the subject matter can be, protecting what matters most to you is ultimately, let's be honest, the best investment that you can make. So begin considering those options with Standard Bank Insurance Brokers. Speak to someone who knows what they're talking about. We made it super easy for you. All you really have to do is SMS the keyword LIFE to 31492. That's 31492 for a quote and a callback, and you can ask those important questions. And the added bonus, when you SMS, you also stand a chance of winning one of 6 Samsung S10 smartphones. So get on it right now. You can get your quote today, and do remember that all those terms and conditions apply.
Get an insurance quote and stand a chance to win one of 6 Samsung S10 smartphones. Simply SMS the keyword LIFE to 31492 for a callback and quote, and you could be a winner.